In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, Prime Minister launches innovations and digital transformation movement. And U.S.-Vietnam ties strengthens as veterans build bridges. Later on, India downgrades ties with Pakistan.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. On Thursday morning, State President Lương Cường received letters of credence from 4 new ambassadors beginning their terms in Vietnam: Australian Ambassador Gillian Burt, Dominican Ambassador Ricardo Rafael Espinan Nuez, Algerian Ambassador Azzeddine Beka, and Angolan Ambassador Fernando Miguel. The state president congratulated the ambassadors and expressed confidence that their diplomatic experience would have strengthened cooperative relationship with Vietnam. He assured them that Vietnamese agencies would provide favorable conditions for them to complete their missions successfully. The ambassadors acknowledged Vietnam as a vital partner and pledged to deepen cooperative relationship, expressing hope for mutual support and coordination in international forums and organizations. This afternoon, State President Lương Cường and high-ranking Vietnamese delegation will make a state visit to Laos at the invitations of General Secretary and President Thongloun Sisoulith. The visit aims to deepen the special solidarity between Vietnam and Laos while providing an opportunity for both sides to evaluate recent cooperations and discuss measures to strengthen their relationship across all fields. General Secretary and President Thongloun Sisoulith will preside over the welcoming ceremony and hold talks with State President Lương Cường this afternoon. On Thursday morning, at the launching ceremony of the emulation movement, the whole country competes in innovations and digital transformation. Prime Minister Phie Minh called for swift and bold implementations. Speaking about the digital education programs launched in March, the Prime Minister noted that while these two initiatives have distinct characteristics, both support the implementations of the Politburo Resolution 57, a document of vital importance that aims to usher the country into an era of prosperity. The Prime Minister emphasized that in today's world, science, technology, innovation, and digital transformation are not merely inevitable trends, but essential pathways for Vietnam to overcome challenges and achieve parity with major powers. At its 44th sessions this morning, the National Assembly Standing Committee reviewed the government's efforts in thrift practices and weed prevention for 2024. Delays in implementing complete projects and ongoing project bottlenecks continue to wedge resources. The committee noted persistent shortcomings in budget management, public investment, and procurement. They urged the government to address the inefficient use of public office buildings and assets. The committee also called for immediate actions on wasted land resources, particularly unused agricultural and forestry land. Also on the morning, the committee reviewed draft amendments to the law on credit institutions and discussed criteria for allocating realistic budget expenditure for 2026. Vietnamese rice exports are surging amid rising global demand and higher prices, with Vietnam commanding the world's highest rice prices, outpacing Thailand and India. Still, exporters remain cautious, hesitant to enter new contracts despite the market upswing.
This exporter typically ships about 500,000 tons annually and aims to increase that to 700,000 tons this year. Rising prices in recent days have bolstered optimism.
Vietnamese rice has good quality and reasonable pricing, which makes it attractive to markets like the Philippines, Indonesia, and Africa, and now even more selective buyers in Asia are showing increasing interest.
Vietnam's 5% broken rice is currently priced between $397 and $410 per ton, while premium rice fetches up to $1,200 per ton, the highest among global competitors. Exporters have stockpiled enough to fulfill previously signed contracts. Companies wait for better prices rather than selling early at lower profit margins.
Prices are somewhat profitable now, but not ideal. We're hoping they will climb another $10 to $50 per ton soon.
The winter-spring harvest is nearly over. The next summer-autumn crop won't arrive until July. Buyers are aware of this gap, so I believe prices will remain stable.
Exporters are focusing on improving product quality and expanding into premium segments while diversifying into new markets to boost competitiveness and value. Meanwhile, stable demand from traditional markets continues to support the sector's sustained growth.
According to the Vietnam Food Association, while Vietnam's standard 5% broken rice price fell below $400 per ton in the first quarter, with 25% broken rice even lower, the average export prices still reached $522 per ton due to fragrance and specialty rice making up high proportions of exports. Vietnamese rice is now in the mid to high segment and aims to move higher, focusing on values and brand development. Demand in this segment is particularly strong, especially in Japan, the US, and the EU. This presents a significant opportunity for Vietnam to expand its production and exports of specialties and fragrant rice. Looking at rice export potential in the coming months, industry experts believe Vietnam has room to increase exports, especially in large and neighboring markets. Vietnam is accelerating construction of the Lạng Sơn Cao Bằng Expressway, aiming to open the route by the end of this year, nearly a year ahead of schedule. The initiative, led by the Ministry of Construction, will reduce travel time to northern mountainous provinces and unlock regional development potential.
Despite being one of the most technically challenging expressway projects, several construction packages are advancing faster than planned.
For Section C2 alone, we've mobilized nearly 600 pieces of equipment and over 1,000 workers to maintain progress.
Core components like bridges, culverts, and tunnels remain on schedule, while roadbed and surface construction is set to finish by year-end, enabling technical traffic operations.
Even capable contractors are being asked to bring in additional staff. We've also advanced an extra 10% in project funding to help speed things up.
Construction on the Hữu Nghị Chi Lăng Expressway is also being fast-tracked. Once both routes, spanning over 180 kilometers, are completed, they will enhance inter-regional connectivity and cross-border trade.
We've planned new feeder roads that will connect the expressway to border gates and surrounding areas. These links will be ready when the highway opens to ensure full efficiency.
The government's goal to complete 3,000 kilometers of expressways by year-end is now projected to exceed targets by around 10%. Accelerated infrastructure rollout is not only boosting public investment disbursement, but also expected to spur regional growth, helping Vietnam reach its 8% GDP growth target this year.
And before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at foreign exchange rate for today, April 24th. Coming up next on VTV News, U.S.-Vietnam ties strengthen as veterans build bridges. And red-crowned cranes return to Vietnam Cham Chim National Park. Vietnam registered war against the U.S. saw the deployment of nearly 550,000 American troops to the southern Vietnamese battlefield. The consequences were profound not only for the Vietnamese people, but also for American society and the individuals who were served. Today, veterans use this anniversary as a moment to reflect, emphasizing efforts to foster bilateral relations.
Returning from Vietnam's battlefields, many U.S. veterans have lived with post-traumatic stress disorder from what they witnessed. Between 1959 and 1975, 58,000 American troops lost their lives in Vietnam, and nearly 1,000 remain unaccounted for. Today, visitors gather at the Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C., tracing the etched names of their fallen comrades.
Most of the names on this wall were young men. And men that I served with there have gone back to visit Vietnam and to visit the areas where we operated and have met people. And I was a young man, I was 18 years old. So soldiers do what they're told to do, even when they don't understand what they're doing or why they're doing it.
Though half a century has passed and memories of the war have dimmed for some, many American veterans have made the journey back to Vietnam. They've devoted themselves to healing the wounds of war, driven by a shared commitment to transcend the past and forge a more hopeful future.
But yet you can overcome the past. And I think that's the critical history lesson that we all have to learn from the past. Once the war is over, it's over. And you move on, and you find ways where people can agree and work together to make a better world, yes, for the people themselves.
Mutual understanding is key to building trust, easing tensions, and preventing misunderstandings.
After the war, people said we need to pay more attention to the history of these and the society of these countries, not just look at them as part of a big geopolitical picture. So I think that was helpful. Sometimes we forget that, but I think that's had a big impact.
As comprehensive strategic partners, the two countries prioritize cultural and people-to-people exchanges, initiatives that help heal war wounds and foster mutual understanding for the future.
As the nation gears up to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and national reunification, parade rehearsals and marching drills are in full swing. This year's celebration carries special significance as it marks the first time international military units will participate in the parade. Their presence symbolizes the deep-rooted friendship and special solidarity between the peoples and armed forces of all participating nations.
Military delegations from Laos and Cambodia joined more than 12,000 Vietnamese officers, soldiers, armed forces members, and civilians in the rehearsal, reflecting Vietnam's strong connections with its international friends.
I'm honored to be invited by Vietnam's Ministry of National Defense to join this meaningful celebration. It's a valuable opportunity to exchange and learn from international friends while strengthening the lasting friendship, solidarity, and comprehensive cooperation between our two parties, states, and armies.
In Bình Dương province, over 200 soldiers from the Lao and Cambodian armies trained diligently for Vietnam's national celebration. Despite the rain, Cambodian troops marched in unison, demonstrating discipline and heartfelt respect. Their presence highlights the strong, time-honored bond between the armies and peoples of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia.
I'm pleased with the strong cooperation. The Vietnamese people offered us such a warm welcome.
We are honored and proud to participate in the parade for Vietnam's national celebration.
The Joy Parade in Ho Chi Minh City highlights the strong friendship between Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, reinforcing trust and regional cooperation for peace and development.
Buses are not only officially organized to meet holiday travel demands, but also specifically decorated to commemorate the liberation of the South and national reunification. Traditional buses display red flags with yellow star mounted atop their roof, Double-decker tourist buses feature the flag of the National Liberation Front of the South Vietnam, while some buses are decorated with informative displays about major national events. The Saigon Chợ Lớn City Tour double-decker bus prominently displays large lettering on both sides, announcing the special TV program celebrating the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and the reunification of the country. The 50th anniversary celebration of the liberation of the South and national reunifications features 63 military parade units and 12 civilians marching teams from across the country. Ho Chi Minh City Youth Team was honored to participate in the public parade, representing the Vietnamese young generations and continuing the previous generation legacy. This event allowed the city children to experience the anniversary vibrant spirit and gain a deeper appreciation for the nation's history.
At 8 p.m., over 190 outstanding secondary and high school children had gathered for the anniversary's march rehearsal. They rehearsed parade formations for nearly 2 months, braving the sweltering heat and juggling the pressures of final exams. These city's children remained determined to fulfill their duties for this historic event.
I have been practicing for a long time, but I don't feel tired because this event is important for every citizen. I'm very happy to represent my other friends in participating in it.
My role in the formation is ceremonial team's leader. We practice marching in place, synchronizing our steps, aligning ourselves horizontally and vertically, and ensuring everything is good. The parade had given us a way to show our pride and love for the homeland and affirm our future role.
The Ho Chi Minh City Youth Union and the city's Young Pioneers Council have organized several meaningful activities to educate children about national history. These include Project I Am a Liberation Soldier of Uncle Ho's City, meet and greets with historical witnesses, and staging a mass drum and bugle performance titled A Nation's Joy.
Every citizen, even our young members, has a love for our country. These recent activities has helped highlight this love and allow them to express this feeling of pride as citizen of the city named after President Ho Chi Minh.
After each rehearsal, Duetang returns home to review her lessons and prepare for the school next day. Whether on the parade route or in her studies, Duetang, like many children across the country, writes brilliant stories filled with pride and deep love for the homeland.
The Khâu Vai Love Festival is currently taking place in Hà Giang. This unique festival embodies profound humanistic values through a market that celebrates pure, loyal love between couples. Rather than serving as a trading venue, the market provides a space for praying for love and blessings, reconnecting with friends, and sharing experiences. The festival features various cultures activities alongside engaging tourist experiences, including climbing Khâu Vai Peak, exploring the Hmong ethnic culture village in Pa Vi Ha village, rowing on Nho Quế River, and admiring Tu San Canyon, renowned as most majestic pass. This celebration also showcases the region's natural beauty, culture, and people to visitors from home and abroad. Nearly 3 decades in, more than 1,000 red-crowned cranes called Cham Chim National Park in Dom Tháp their seasonal home. This iconic species is making a long-awaited return. Though once a proud symbol of the Mekong Delta, the cranes had gradually vanished, with some years seeing no visit at all. Their comeback now brings hope for both conservation efforts and the region's ecological recovery.
After completing quarantine and wildlife health checks at Saigon Zoo and Botanical Gardens, 6 red-crowned cranes, each around 7 months old, have been relocated to Tram Chim National Park. The goal is to re-establish a breeding population of this rare species in Vietnam, where it has been absent for years.
Our environment is clean, and our farming practices are safe. That's why the crane population is recovering, and local communities can also enjoy the benefits of a healthier ecosystem.
Extensive preparations have been made to welcome the crane. Notably, a new outreach team, the Red-Crowned Crane and Wildlife Protection Team, has been launched to raise awareness about bird conservation and promote environmental stewardship.
We're working with local communities to promote organic rice farming in buffer zones around the park. This helps restore a healthy environment where the released cranes can thrive in the wild.
We've divided the project into 2 phases. From 2022 to 2028, we'll bring in 30 cranes from Thailand. From 2029 to 2032, another 30 will arrive, 60 in total. They'll be bred and gradually released into the wild.
The crane's return marks more than a scientific milestone. It reflects international cooperation and reminds communities about biodiversity preservation. The red-crowned crane, once a fading emblem of the Delta, now returns, bringing fresh hope for conservation across Vietnam and Southeast Asia.
Coming up next in our news, China set condition for tariff negotiations with the United States. And Italy tightens security ahead of Pope Francis' funeral. India announced a series of measures on Wednesday to downgrade ties with Pakistan in response to a terrorist attack in Indian-administered Kashmir that claimed 26 lives. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri announced the suspensions of a key water-sharing treaty with Pakistan and the closure of major border crossings. Military advisors from Pakistan serving the country high commissions in New Delhi were ordered to leave India, reducing the commission's membership from 55 to 30. Pakistan has denied allegations of supporting armed groups involved in violence in Kashmir. The incident marks the deadliest civilian attacks in India in nearly 2 decades.
It resolved that the perpetrators of this attack will be brought to justice and
China set condition for a tariff negotiation with the U.S. on Wednesday. China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiankun stated that if the U.S. wants to resolve tariff issue through dialogue, it must cease making threats and engage in talks based on equality, respect, and mutual benefit. U.S. President Donald Trump responded that tariff reductions on China's goods would depend on Beijing actions. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent noted that no trade talks were currently underway between Washington and Beijing, adding that rebalancing trade between the two countries could take 2 to 3 years.
We have a very, very great place. It's called the United States.
The Italian government has heightened security ahead of Pope Francis' funeral on April 26 to protect foreign delegations and faithful pilgrims traveling to the Vatican. Barriers are in place inside and outside St. Peter Basilica, and more than 2,000 police officers are conducting patrols. Rome has implemented state-of-the-art security measures across the city and its airspace, including anti-drone system, a fighter jet patrols no-fly zone, and advanced signal jamming technology. The mass is expected to draw 200,000 attendees, including 170 foreign delegations led by dignitaries such as U.S. President Donald Trump and Prince William. Pope Francis had a sweet tooth, and when he was looking for a custom dessert, he turned to the Gelateria Hedera, step from the Vatican. The shop shared a treasure trove of memories with the late Pope.
Inside his shop, as old as Francis' papacy, Gelateria owner Francesco Saravolo walks through the memories he shares with Pope Francis.
It was always a sweet moment with me. I used to speak to him as if I was speaking with my priest, my spiritual father. So he was very nice to me. I brought him sweetness, a moment of hilarity. I really have very simple memories. I have memories of prayers in a difficult moment of my life. I asked him to pray, and it even worked.
Saravolo remembers the first cake his shop ever baked for the late pontiff on the occasion of his name's day, picturing St. George's defeating the dragon. From then on, the shop has provided the Pope with cakes and sweet for all sorts of occasions, with a particular eye on Francis' taste.
His name was George. He took the name of Francis after being elected Pope. After that, all our cakes had a theme dear to him in a particular moment. Children, migrants. Each time we put these images on the cake, which he really liked, as it represented somehow his hope in time and his message.
Every year, Saravolo took care of customizing cakes and sweets depicting themes dear to the Pope. "You will make me fat," Francis used to say to the sweets maker recalls, explaining how Bergoglio asked them to make and donate cakes to the least fortunate every year on his birthday so that they could celebrate.
In the past few years, when it became more difficult for him to eat a lot of sweets, we slowed down the production of sweets for Pope Francis. He asked us to give them to the dispossessed, those at the bottom, the poorest, those who were around the columns at St. Peter's. We were sending these small cakes ordered by the Pope to celebrate his birthday.
Following the Pope's instructions, the shop made thousands of cakes looking like his, so that all the poor people could enjoy with him.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that are all the news for today. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download a mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.